Makkot Daf Bet Amud Aleph, a few lines from the bottom. New Mishnah. Kama Malkino, to how much Malkut do we give somebody, right? You would think that Masachet Malkot we mentioned in the beginning. Here we are at the end. Arba'im Haser Hat, we say 40 minus 1, 39, because Shneimar Bimispar Arba'im. In the number of 40, which means Minyan Shu Samuch Arba'im, a number that's next to 40, which is 39. Rabbi Damer, Arba'im Shlemot Hulokeh, gets full 40. Ve'echan Hulokeh Leitera. So now we're going to learn that we give sets of three between the shoulders and the chest. We give three at a time. So where's that 40th number is? Because it's an odd number now. Bank Teva between the shoulders. Next, we just said the only able to assess him only with a number of malkut that's divided by three. And therefore, they said 19, he gets 18. 22, he gets 21. If they assess him to be able to receive 40, but look, makes out that he got a portion of that. Then he realized that we can't get the full 40. Patur, you stop. Amadula Kabel Shmona say they said you're able to get 18. But after they started at the 18, Amdu Sheyachol Kabab is able to get 40. Patur, you don't add any more. Okay. My Tama. Why does Hanakama say that Pasuk is referring to 39, not 40? Iktiv the reason is because it's written 40. Avamina, meaning actually 40. Hashtag Iktiv b'mispar now that I mentioned the number of 40, Minyan Shu Sochem is a number that counts to 40, which is 39. Maravala, kama tipshesh al how foolish are other people? The Kamei Mekamei Sefer Torah, they only stand up before Sefer Torah. V'lo Kamei Mekamei Gav Rabban, they don't stand up in front of Talmid Chacham. The Ilu B'Sefer Torah K'tiv Abraham, because the Torah wrote 40. V'Altra B'Nam Basru Hada, and Chachamim said 39. Right, so it even saves these Purashayim that they don't get an extra whip. Okay, Rabbi Damer, Arba'im Shlemot, he gets 40 full. Marav Yitzchak, my Tamer Rabbi, why does he hold that you get the 40 between the shoulders? The K'tiv. Maham Makot Eila Ben Yadecha V'Amar Asher Huketi Ben Bet. In the house who loved me, that pasuk is referring to between the shoulders. Rabbanan Kunta Hamim Maharid Min pasuk. Hahu b'dinyan shebet Rabban who that pasuk written by rabbis and teachers hitting the school children for misbehaving. That has nothing to do with makut. Okay, Enom din elab makot ariyot. We said it's only divisible by three. Lakain lo lakalo. So now the Mishnah said at the end that if he started to get hit, and then we said he's supposed to drop it lower, you don't get any more. Now the Gemara says only if you started, but not if you didn't start. If you estimate it's supposed to get 40. But then they reassessed him. He can't get 40. Patur, he doesn't get any, he doesn't get it. Amadu, the Kabbalah Shmona said he get 18. Then he said you can get the full 40. Patur, you don't even get that. So you see, like this Brisa says, it doesn't make a difference whether or not you got it yet. Our Mishnah said only if they started. Our Mishnah, this Brisa says no. The Mishnah says when they reassessed him the same day, that's when we assume he's patur. Nothing changed. Must be the first time of mistake. Okay. And the second time where we say it's redone is if the next day we see that he's able to accept the more or less, we change it based off that because it's a different day. He might be in better health that day. Okay. New Mishnah. Avar avera sheyesh ba shnei lavim. Sometimes avera it have two different isurin of malkut. Amadu omed echad. If bedin applied one for both, loke patur he gets one set of 39 and patur for the second. Bim lav, but if it was only for one at a time, loke he gets malkut for that. Umitrapeh you got it to recover. V'hozever loke then you do round two. The Gemara about but it says, "Ein omdin omed le'echad." You can't do one assessment for two separate malkuts. The Gemara says, "Hada amdu l'arba'im b'hada." The Rata says that we don't do double. It's to a case where they said, "Oh, this guy's only able to get 41." And since 41 is that second set after 39, the first number to be counted is 42. So therefore, the second set doesn't happen at all. Only the first set. When the Mishnah says you allowed to do double, that's Toma where they got 42, which is 39 for the first set and 3 for the second set. That's the way you're able to do both. New Mishnah. How do they whip him? Bedin ties his two hands on the side of a pole. The Hazan Knesset, the attendant of the Bedin, or Hezbe Vadav, grabs his garment to pull it away firm from his top of his body to whip him. They tear, if they split by the seam, they split. We don't care about the shirt. Until his chest and back is revealed. Evan and the stones put behind him. Hasanak Nasir and the guy, the attendant of Bedin stands on it. Ursu Abiyado, he has a strap in his hand. For those who, some people have been hard to actually recreate this during, for Erev Yom Kippur. If you do, text me, I would love to know. I believe it's a Persian minhag. Okay. He has a strap in his hand, made of calfskin. Kifula echad l'shnayim u'shnayim l'arba'a. It's a double strap that's folded over into four. And they have donkey hide that's sewn in, stitched into it through holes up and down the strap. Yeah, that tefach, the handle has to be a tefach long. V'rachba tefach, and the width of the strap should be a tefach long. And the tip of the whip, when he's getting whipped, it should reach the top of his belly when he gets hit. A third gets in the front of his chest, like to his belly, like we said. And the 2/3 go on his back on both sides of his shoulders. He's not hit while standing or sitting, but rather leaning over. Shneimar Pasuk says, the judge shall cause him to go downward. Okay. The guy who's giving the lashes has to use one hand with all his might. And there's a reader at the Betin who starts to read Pesukim in Lotish Mor La'asot. With one pasuk about being careful and you'll get Makkot. Another pasuk. If he finishes the Pesukim, he goes back to the beginning. If he has more time, he says this as well. And he finishes the last pasuk of if he still has more time, he goes back to the beginning. There's a whole set of pesukim they go through while whipping. If he died while he's getting lashes, patur, the guy's patur, the betin agent is patur. If they whipped him an extra whip that he wasn't supposed to get, and the guy died, the shliach betin goes to galut because he killed him by mistake, and it does not patur from galut because he wasn't supposed to hit him that extra time. Nit kalkel, if the guy soiled himself, he made in his pants, basically. Ben Berai Ben Maim, according to Tanakama, whether it was a number one or number two, excrement to urine, patur, he's patur from any more lashes. A man only patur if he soils himself with excrement, number two, but a woman is patur even for number one. And the reason being why there's a petura is a patur, so in the first place, is because the Gemara says, "Maitama." Why do we say it is patur if someone soils himself, whether or not, according to both opinions? Mishum nikla. The pasuk says they have to be demeaned and degraded, and if the guy soiled himself or the woman soiled himself, that's included. Okay. How do you know in pasuk that the strap made out of calfskin? The pasuk says arba'im yakenu. B'samech, and the pasuk says at Makkot lo ta'asom shor b'disho mentions the ox. But how do you know that the Yavamah, the sister-in-law, whose husband had died without children, she has to marry the brother-in-law? How do you know that brother-in-law is full of boils and therefore disgusting? How do we know that we don't silence her to stop her from marrying him? How do we know that we encourage her not to get married? And the is the fact that it mentions muzzling and yabum shows us that we want her not to get married for her sake. This is crazy. Whoever disgraces Hol HaMoed, it's as if he worshipped Allah Zara. The Pasuk says, Elohim masaychel ta'azilach, v'samich et haga masot eshmor. Whoever speaks Lashon Hara of somebody else, whoever accepts Lashon Hara of somebody else, whoever testifies falsely, he deserves to be thrown to dogs. The thief, we read as lo tasi, don't bring false reports. Don't only accept or give false reports, and Lashon Hara will be put next to the pasuk of thrown to dogs. Okay, ushteru, we have two straps. Tana, shel hamor, this is made of donkey hides. Like mentioned, why do you have donkey hides mixed with the ox? Because the pasuk says, famous pasuk regarding Neviut, that when they're insulting or reporting badly of Bnei Israel, they say, an ox knows its owner and a donkey knows who feeds it, the master that feeds it. But Bnei Israel acts like they don't know God. It's a very, very powerful line. Hashem said, let the one who recognizes who feeds him, the master who feeds him, and let him punish, the donkey should be able to punish the person who doesn't recognize God. The handle should be a long. And the fact that we said that the tip has to hit the stomach must be each person had to make their own whip. Had to make a whip for each person because every inch that the person is taller or shorter had to be a new one. Remember, that's the case. Alright, so before you guys get ideas of ordering of mass producing whips for Bedin, Rava says no. If that's the case, there'd be so many whips that Bedin would have. They need a separate store warehouse for that. And Rava says, Kata itla, there'll be a knot that's adjustable. Kibai make that they could extend it or loosen it or tighten it. They change length. And that's one way. Makino said Bedin hits him. One in the front, two-thirds in the back. بينما هنا المرة كان عندما مرة فيه بيطلع شفر به كله فناب كده رجعته متبار. رشعة تاب من الفناب says you hit him in front according to his wickedness, singular form. One in the front, which means Shayot Ba'achlav, two parts of wickedness gets hit in the back. In Makino we don't hit him while standing, rather bent over. Marbi Hizam Minayin, how do we know? There is Suashi Mechupel that the strap is doubled over. Shinar Pasu says Vehit Pilo. And Vepil also it can sound like kefa, which is double. V'hami ba'alei gufeh. When saying the pasuk, you need that word to teach you that he has to be bent over, not to teach you that it's double strap. Gemara says, "Im ken letuf kra yatehu." The pasuk is in bending over. My hepilo. What a special word from here. I mean, to teach you both things that the guy has to be bent over and that the strap is doubled. The guy who's hitting the lashes has to use one hand with all his strength. We only appoint shlichei bedin who are weak but who are very smart. The Mer says no. I feel not so smart, but have a lot of physical strength so they get hit harder. Don't give more because you might hit more. It makes sense to say that, like in Ridat, it says that we want people who are not so smart. We have to warn him not to hit too many because he might lose track because he's not so smart. Today, you can say that they're very smart. Why the Pasuk have to warn them not to hit too many? They're counting. The says, Rabbanan. How does the Rabbanan answer this? It's true. They're smarter, but that means they're also more motivated to follow the word of Hashem. And therefore, you have to warn people who are more motivated not to do more than they're supposed to. Okay. Tanabart says, Keshu Magbia, when he raises his hand to whip the person, Magbia V'shnei he lifts the whip with both hands. Ukshei when he actually hits, he hits with one hand, so that its full strength is used, right? If you want to throw a ball farther, you don't use two hands, you use one hand to launch it. So he lifts the whip with two hands, and then when he actually administers the whip, he uses one hand to use his full strength. The man is reading the Pesukim, he reads the Pesukim. The top judge reads it. The second judge counts the lashes after as it's been given. And the third one is giving the command to the shliach to hit him. When the man lashes to be done. Then the person who's reading, the judge is reading, spreads out the Pesukim slowly. When there's a few lashes, he reads it faster. What do you mean? What do you mean, look shorter, faster? We say you read, and if you have to repeat it, you repeat it. In the Mishnah, the Gemara says, There's a mitzvah to be precise that you finish the Pesukim at the last whip. But if you did not hit that timing, then you can go back to the beginning. The Pasuk says that you shall hit him, a great hitting. And the I only know that you can't hit too many. I had to know that you can't do a couple extra. I can't hit him 10 extra. Who does that can get an extra one for good luck? So another person says, Lo Yosif, don't add. Mean now don't add a great beating. We made all the teaches you that it's not that there's a great beating in the number of lashes, but rather you have to use your full koach, full strength to hit him hard. Okay, we'll stop here.